All right, guys, good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. It is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, January 13th, 2022. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, make sure to click that like button for me. Turn on notifications, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. Any questions, feel free to type it on the comment or the chat here. Dow closed down 0.49%, 36,113. NASDAQ down 2.5% today. S&P down 1.42%. Looking at the equal weight ETF for the S&P, down about 0.46%. The VIX was up 15%, 2031, again above 20, something to watch for. The dollar was flat today, 94.87, but was down most of the day. 10-year Treasury yield 1.711, down 0.81% in terms of the yield. Gold was down 0.34%, so not much of a hedge there. 170.16 for GLD. Silver 21.33 for SLV, down 0.56%. In terms of credit markets, high yield credit down 0.36%, 86.17. While investment grade credit boosted 0.32%, 130.31. So what does that tell you? Again, the Dow wasn't down that much. You had the equal weight S&P not down as much as the regular S&P. So value caught some bids today. Taking a look here, or high value companies, LQD being the investment grade credit. Taking a look at oil, down 1.14%, 81.70, and they're going to look at gasoline, down 0.67%, $2.37 a gallon. And taking a look here, Ethereum futures down 3.5%, 32.62, 42,750, down 2.45% for Bitcoin futures. All right, let's take a look at what happened today. So what we had today was basically a lot of Fed chatter from voters from the FOMC. We're talking about rate hikes, and we need to curb inflation. We don't know when we're done with rate hikes. Totally spooked the market, obviously. Now, a couple of things that we've been looking at as we go along, as you know, is the VIX. We look at the dollar, and we look at yields. So yields were down, good sign for tech. The dollar was down, good sign for tech. Oil was down. Well, that really doesn't affect tech, but helps the market. Didn't matter. There wasn't a place to hide today other than value names. Boeing was up today, about 3%. Caterpillar was up 2%. Goldman Sachs was up 0.13%. Those kind of names did well today. Obviously, Boeing with their news of the 737 MAX. We'll take a look at the heat map for the S&P. MasterCard was up 0.60%. Citibank up 0.75%. Berkshire Hathaway was up. So again, kind of a mixed bag with financials, but a lot of red on your screen is technology, communication services, cyclicals that deal with technology. Some of the restaurants were down today. Nike and apparel, Starbucks was down, but travel did well, Ford did well, GM did well, even though Tesla was down 6.75%. The home builders or home improvement stores were down, but consumer defensives did well. Costco was down 1.70. Walmart was up. Coca-Cola was up. PepsiCo, again, when things are down, the defensives tend to do better. Dollar General was down 2.42%. Procter & Gamble down 0.45%. Healthcare was down 2%. UNH being down 1.33%. Again, diagnostics, healthcare, research, they were down today. But for the most part, I mean, just kind of a red day other than utilities. Industrials did well. Taking a look at that, Boeing, we said. Caterpillar, John Deere was good. Airlines did well today after earnings from Delta and some from American Airlines, some news yesterday. So again, kind of a mixed bag. A lot of the entertainment companies did okay. Viacom was up 3.4%. So again, a mixed bag. But again, tech took the biggest hit. You can see here, technology being the worst performing sector of the S&P. Consumer cyclicals, communication services, healthcare were down. Materials were down. Energy was down, but not as bad. Real estate down 0.3. Even with 30-year mortgage rates up, that didn't hurt that much. Defensive utilities led the way for the most part. Financials down 0.27%. So let's take a look at the technical aspect, and we'll answer some questions. We did break the 50-day moving average on S&P futures on the daily. So the question is, even with yields down, even with the dollar down, can we retest the Monday's lows? Monday's lows were right here, right at 45.71. So I too say yes. Again, I want to see how futures do tomorrow, but more than likely we'll probably just retest, kind of hold around 4,600. So I think that we have about 52 handles of the S&P moving forward that we should be able to go. What we have running against us, again, we had PPI was better than expected, but still more multi-year highs. The Fed is still sticking with, raising rates. Sure, you have Fed Chair Powell talking otherwise, that they're not in a rush, that they're going to do it, yada, yada, yada. But again, you still have other voters there. So the hawkish tone is what spooks the markets, not interest rates in a sense, because the 10-year would have been higher. But again, value seems to be kind of the way you want to go. Industrials, banks, they're not doing as bad. But again, above 20 VIX is where I start looking at the market for opportunities to short. So again, I think here is pretty good, right around 46.50. If we break that, 46.76 should be a stop, and then 4600 should be your target. I don't think we'll get below the 100, but more likely retest around these lows of Monday, which would be fine. And a bullish sentiment would be if we bounced off that, because then we retest the lows and we bounce again. That'd be a really good sign. Or again, we can start the beginning of a correction where we start getting down to 4400, but we're still not there yet because we have to break the October lows before we even have that discussion. So imagine that was 3 months ago. So again, 4600 seems to be the target, again, as long as this VIX is holding up above 20 short term. So again, I do expect a correction coming this year. The question is when. If we get it out of the way now, that'd be fine. I'm all for it. But again, we have earnings coming up next month. So again, that's in February. So that's really a key driver here. Do these companies, are they worth their valuations? Earnings will tell the tale. Again, we had low interest rates for a long time. We had a lot of QE, a lot of stimulus. Did the holidays in 2021 unleash more than in 2020? I want to see the online retailers. I want to see the brick and mortar retailers. I want to see how tech did. Again, most of these stay-at-home names, again, Peloton I want to see because that's a big high beta driver. Again, the Zooms of the world, how did they do? Did Microsoft do okay? Again, Microsoft today was at their 18 months worst day. So think about it, worst day in 18 months basically. So again, 4600 could be tapped. Again, I'm a little leaning more to the short side here until 4600. 4567 is probably the biggest support you'll get. We flirted with that on Monday, but it seems to be that we're just going to retest. Does that mean the world's over? No, not at all. Do I think it's a buying opportunity? Not yet. Right around 4400, 4450 is where I start really looking for some deals where I want to go ahead and buy some stocks that are beaten down. Again, what's going to get beaten down? High growth, high beta, and tech, because that has been a place to hide for a long time. But again, opportunities will probably be there for some of the financials in a rising rate environment, possibly some regional banks. You can take a look at some industrials. We talked about that on the podcast. So again, there is other places to be other than Tesla, other than Amazon, right? So there's other things. But again, the earnings report is going to be the really key factor. Do these companies, are they willing to, or do they make enough money to justify these high valuations? And again, does tech still fall even as rates are slightly down? Now again, rates can go back up tomorrow, but the price action here on rates, taking a look at here, if we break below 1.7 or 1.692, then it gets really interesting, because if rates are down and bonds are being sold, then there really isn't a place to hide. It's going to be a complete to the point of just a liquidation. Cash will be where everyone's at short term, may last about a month, if anything, to be honest. So, I'm kind of preparing that there is going to be some opportunity. I bought some Roku today. That was really it. Traded a couple of options today. But again, looking at it, Boeing was a nice winner. AMD we cut early. Again, we had to. It broke the level that we were looking at. Happens. But at the end of the day, 1692, I really want to see if rates do fall. Again, bonds were being bought, correct? So if bonds are being bought, are we starting to see a safety trade? Are we starting to see that, hey, we want to take a little risk off? So what I'm seeing is kind of a combination of things. I'm seeing that crypto is being the real leading indicator here. If crypto starts falling, stocks and high beta tech starts to fall with it. So again, if you're starting to see crypto starting to bounce, then usually it takes stocks with it, because it's more of a risk-off sentiment. Risk-off meaning, hey, let's go for it. Risk-off means we want to be conservative. Risk-on means we want to be, hey, let's just go for the highest yield we can. Again, the balancing act for every investor is, I want the highest return possible with the safety with it. So, if you want to be higher return, you're going to have to be a little less safe. And if you want to be more conservative, you're going to get less return. Or again, make it life easy. You can just buy an S&P fund. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's see. I'm down 20 to 30% on certain growth stocks companies with nearly great guidance and guidance. So yeah, that's the name of the game. These high beta names were high flyers in 2020 and 2021 in the beginning of the year. You're going to get some washouts. You're going to get some profit taking, sure. So again, Were those just trades for individuals? Were they just investing funds getting in them? We know where ARKK stands. I stand with her in terms of innovation. I like her thesis on it. You're going to get some wild price action. It's not going to go straight to one shot. But again, Tesla had this issue. Amazon had this issue where it took a while for them to get started. I remember Tesla about 3 or 4 years ago was one of the most hated companies to own. And all the volatility, everyone was talking mess about it. They're fraud and this. And now guess what? They're on fire. They've had stock splits. They make profit. And now they're in the S&P and one of the largest companies by market cap. So again, you always have, the commentary from different people, and they have their own, kind of perspective on things, obviously. So again, as an investor, all you got to think of is, A, do I need the money today? B, do I still believe in this company? If you ever question yourself in terms of the company, remember you're buying companies, not stocks, then you need to cut it off. But again, I haven't cut anything off in terms of my longer term thesis of these betas, high beta names that again are brilliant to innovation. Again, technology, metaverse. You're talking about EV. Again, plenty of ways to choose. But again, you could keep it simple. Just buy an S&P fund too, and you don't have to worry about this stuff. Thoughts on when dope stocks may pop? What would cause it? Legalization. If marijuana was legalized, word was in Forbes that cannabis does help against COVID. Imagine that. Imagine that vaccine. Here, smoke a J, right? But again, once that's legalized nationwide or more states start legalized, it'll start popping. Yes. Thoughts on Valley 50K volume for Feb the 18th? Let's take a look at it. Let's see, 50K volume on Feb 18th. What strike are you speaking of? Let me see if I can find it. Feb 18. Yes, good eye. Wow. 18s and the 16s. So, interesting. There is a break. That's actually not a bad trade. Let's see if that volume picks up tomorrow. And that wouldn't be a bad call, to be honest with you, because the chart supports it. You're above the moving average. You have a breakout of the range, and you got great volume. So, looks pretty nice. Good eye, Austin. Thoughts on Microsoft and MU? Microsoft to me is bulletproof. This kind of price action happens. More likely we'll get it below 302, if anything, worst case scenario. But I think it's a buy opportunity. I may have to buy some Microsoft there because all we're doing is retesting the previous breakout where we had a double top. So that'd be a good level to start easing in. So Microsoft looking interesting for sure. Looking at Micron. Micron's one of the cheaper names in terms of tech and PE. So again, you can see they're above the breakout levels still in the daily. I wouldn't want to buy some here. I would like it to get back down to 85 maybe. But again, to trade it, sure, but you can see it's been kind of rangy and kind of back and forth with it. He called Simon late today to had a bad reaction to the Fed's remarks on interest rate hike. Was looking at TNX. Why is it down? That is interesting. Again, we're getting a lot of buys on bonds. And with QE, you can see that 1.8 level seems to be that level where it's just resistance right now on the daily. But again, looks like it is going to slide back down here to 1.692 or bounces. So again, it just depends. Again, it gets kind of screwy here. Now you're saying, okay, we're going to raise rates. Why would people buy bonds? I guess it's kind of the game of chicken that where traders are seeing if the stock market is too down, the Fed is always going to save us. And the Fed is saying, well, we're going to hike rates, but don't go down too fast yet. Don't follow the stock market because then we won't do it. And that's kind of the cat and mouse game I've noticed. Price to add Apple and Microsoft. Microsoft, like I said, I think below 300 is fine. Looking at Apple, I wish we had a little more. Right around 156, that previous breakout level where we had almost like a double top. That would be the level I'll buy some more. 5 million volume of Microsoft to end the day. Wow, interesting. 5 million in volume. Well, who knows? But let me see. Yeah, I could see a big volume spike towards the end of the day. It did pop a little bit. There was some news, some shareholder news on Microsoft I retweeted, but not enough to do anything. But it is coming up to support. So again, that support level right here at 302.83 seems about right for a bounce. So maybe it's worth a shot buying some Microsoft there at 302.83. Below 300, I mean, $2.83, not a huge deal. But again, it's just a retest of the breakout. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your evening. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Cheers.